Go. All right. So today the goal, we're aiming for a complete Lowpoly version. I was hoping to get to that last time, but we did manage to finalize the highpoly. So now we're off to the Lowpoly progression steps, right? And I'm not sure what to add. It's all about more just getting into it, removing a few modifiers, making sure I have enough like resolution where I need it. And I think I should be able to do this fairly quickly. Most of the cylinders are roughly the same base geometry. And I did plan ahead a bit while working on the highpoly, so hopefully that works out. We'll see. You're gonna see me drink tons of water. The heat, and I feel like every broken record by now, but the heat hasn't let off at all. So we're jumping between, since we're on like the coast, most of the weather jumps between like this extreme heat, well, extreme for my place, my area at least, around the 25, the 30s often in Celsius. And with that, and the combination of, I guess, wind, moisture, what do we call it? We have had thunder and heavy rainfall mixed in with that blazing heat for a few days now. Holy shit! Hi, Raiders. Hey, Pounds, how you doing? Oh, wow. I was not prepared for this. How y'all doing? Oh, that was not so unexpected. I'm kind of lost for words. Welcome. Holy shit. No pressure, thank you. Act natural. How do you do that? When you're well aware that you can't act natural, how do you start act natural? I don't know. Whoa. All right. Yeah, it might happen. It might happen. I don't know. This is a first. Pounds sent you. All right, Pounds. I owe that. Thank you. And Hillford, of course. Thank you for well, going along with Pounds. Holy shit. It's a lot of first raters. What do I do with my hands? Yes, exactly. That's kind of where I'm going right now. It's all over the place. Just pretend. That's kind of hard, Frostern, because it's happening all at once. And it's really at the side of my face, like I can't talk. I'm just gonna take a deep breath, just grabbing some water. So Hill and Atreus. So Simpestov, look at chat to start working. I'll do that, Froston. All right. Well, so I've been working on for a few streams now is a game asset for a game I'm making. That's unfortunately kind of on the shelf. I'm working on specifics right now, but I wanted to at least create something for the game. Figure I'm trying to grow. Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, 100% appreciate that, Pounds. Yeah, so the lantern is meant to be part of a horror game I'm working on. Indie support indies, that's amazing. Yeah, I love that attitude. Yes, thank you, Shug. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lantern. Hopefully that was obvious. I don't know. Yes, and I'm working on the Lowpoly right now. We finished the highpoly during the last stream. Well, it's not going to show much, be a big difference considering I've just started on the Lowpoly. It's just a copy right now. But yeah, that's a goal, to finish off a Lowpoly for a horror game I'm working on. And Lowpoly, I say, exactly. Yeah, the Lowpoly, yeah, I'm just going to start repeating myself. But the horror game, we could talk about that because I kind of like to talk about it because it's one of my darlings I've been considering for quite some time. Although I'm somewhat stuck right now. And so the idea of the game is that I love the idea of working more with a Lovecraftian approach rather than the in-your-face horror. Or I know that Pounds and me, we talked a few times about Silent Hill-esque type of games, so I'm definitely aiming for something along those lines. Well, right now I'm kind of stuck in the part where you're supposed to scare the player. I have a setting, a lighthouse, isolated. I want some spooky stuff going on, of course, with sound and everything. But it's a part where you don't show your monster, at least not obviously. Just keep it the tidbits so the player can just kind of use its own. Yeah, I like the idea because the idea of scaring someone with their own imagination kind of appeals to me, rather than, well, here's a monster, and a few encounters later, you're like, oh, well, I've seen this a few times, so what now? Exactly. I think people scare themselves more than I can scare them, because they're going to think of the absolute worst things, and I'm like, oh, that's where your head went? I'm like, whoa, I was not thinking of that. That's way more than I ever went with. Mr. Zombie, I'm working on a PlayStation 1 fixed camera style hardy. Oh, I love that. That would definitely be one of the classics, right? Should be Silent Hill 1, I guess. Well, thank you, Faustin. Yeah. Hopefully I can get some creative juices going on. Resident Evil, something inspired. Yeah, perfect. I mean, you have to use those as inspiration because it's just amazing games, right? Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually, because like I mentioned, I'm kind of stuck, but I hopefully will get something. In the meantime, though, I'm still going to work on a few assets just to keep that the process going. But also, hopefully, I'll get the green light from a few friends, because we plan on doing a short side project, and if I can get them to agree on me showing it on stream, I think that could be a fun thing, because I do love the idea of hopefully get some feedback on it, because I think the idea of it's supposed to be a sort of a satire game, so it would be fun to hear some feedback on the jokes and things like that. Oh, so what you're looking at right now is a MatCap in Blender. It's meant to kind of imitate the normal map textures, so you can just swap it out in here, and you kind of jump between these MatCaps. I usually add that at the end, just to give me an idea of what I can almost expect from the normal map. But when I model, I usually use the more default, or this one, which is Studio Light, or even better, when you want to make sure your shading is proper. Otherwise, you might get some artifacts. And actually, during the last stream, we looked at a few ways to model the corners, which was a lot of fun. I learned a few new things, which is always interesting and motivating, because it feels like you're still learning. It's always fun. Oh yeah, has to have some Iron Maiden. Has some nostalgia, which is also something we went down the lane of during the last stream. I'm sure you all know about the legend who passed away. It's unfortunate, but it happens. The legend, yeah. Well, I'm glad, Zombie. I'm glad my first impression got that feeling. And I hope to look forward to seeing more of you. Everyone is welcome. And also, while I'm actually staring at my model, I'm noticing an error. Awesome. Perfect. That's fun. That's probably not going to be too much to fix. Now, these are just below what I want them to be. That was not meant to be that. Go. Let's move these up a bit. And luckily, I've added these modifiers, which helps me just align one model, and every other one will, all of them will adjust the same way. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna stop yapping. Well, I'm gonna add some yapping every now and then, but I'm gonna start modeling. And of course, questions, please, if you have them, send them my way. I might even send a few questions to chat, because, like I mentioned, I learned a lot through chat, just talking to people. I think I learned really interesting thing last stream. There's a superhero. I assume it's from the DC universe called Kite Man. I think it was Nitro that sent me down that rabbit hole, and I found that hero to be absolutely fascinating. I haven't looked into more of it yet, but during that stream, that was kind of fun. All right. Let's see. I did adjust the highpoly, so I'm going to have to adjust the low. Or I can just make a copy of that thing I just adjusted, delete the other one. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to have to ask you to look it up, Shug, because it's one of the things you kind of have to explore and enjoy. No, that's the thing, Shug. I didn't hear about him either, but then I looked it up and I saw him next to Batman, Superman. No, maybe not Superman, because that would be That's DC, that's not Marvel. I'm about to say something really dumb. I'm just going to delete this one, make a copy, move it over to Lowpoly. We're back. All right. So I'm just going to start modeling, have some fun. Yeah, I was kind of surprised myself. I did have to take a few turns reading Nitro's message last time. Actually, kind of because my head went to an old movie from the 90s. It was a comedy movie from a man, something man. That thing I can't remember exactly what his name was, and it was just a pure comedy movie about a man who just made dumb things, but was meant to be a superhero. I can't remember the exact details of it. It's just a mess. Everyone's a mess every now and then. All right, let's just start focusing up from the top down. And I need to, first of all, remove the subdiv. Let's see, the bevel modifier. Let's hide you for now. I do that? I can't. Just going to apply. I'm going to clean up all of this mess. Oh, I can't do that. I actually do need to apply you. No worries, Shug. Thanks for showing up. It was a nice surprise to see everyone pop in, and so have a good evening or day, whatever you are. And let's see, I need to start moving stuff. My accompanied by a community that's been talking to each other for a long time. Get the feeling that everyone seems to know each other. That's 380. That might be a bit overkill. Cost of Hillfort. Does Hillfort agree with that? That it's being a cult, I mean? Weird little boy. You've seen him grown up. All right, awesome. I'm sure he's happy to hear that. He knows, okay. All right. I think we can live with 188. I might get back to this, but because this edge right there and on the other side might not be needed. I think the normal could probably handle most of that. And something I always try to do when doing low poly or in general modeling is to kind of look from a distance that I know the player will like kind of see the model from. And I'm considering This is probably as close as a player will ever be. So holding up your hand, thinking about it, and looking now, I could definitely remove that edge. I'm going to see if I can fix the shading. I'm trying to remember. There is a way to... no, it's not split. I can't remember if it's something with the end button. It's been a while since I've done this. I think it's this one. And I do not need the sharp edges. That's an add-on I'm using, which I need to fix at some point. Because it's kind of driving me nuts. Throwing around weighted edges, sharp edges all over the place. You know what we should do? Which I didn't do last time. I should have. We're actually going to play some Osborne. And I'm thinking Crazy Train. I haven't heard that in a while. Will be the next song after this one. Which is going from Disturbed to some Ozzy Osbourne. That sounds good. He was thinking of Crazy Train. I think we're all going from one crazy spot to another. If that's the case, I'm not particularly worried, but I'll give it a try and stay away. Don't worry. But yeah, it might have been some subliminal messages from my side too. I'm not sure. Who knows? I'm trying something new. Yeah, we're listening to actually my favorite list. So all of these songs are, well, some of them I'm not super proud of. But at some point, my theory, my philosophy with the list is, if I liked it at one point, it goes to the list, and it could be anything. So you might find that my taste in music is all over the place. But who knows? Maybe we are more similar than I think, and it's fine. All right. Let's see. I could probably should probably turn all of these off, except for that one. Let's keep you. Next comes the boring part. Well, I should be able to use this particular selector, right? There should be some... I'm not sure if the checker deselect could work in this case, because it's going to select every other. I want to select every other completed edge, or loop in this case. I'm pretty sure I've seen it being done. I don't remember. I'm not sure if I want to take the time to Google either. Goes quite quickly to just select. Just that I'm going to look like an absolute amateur, but I'm fine with that. That's some... I should probably remove that one too. Maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of got that you were actually talking about Disturbed. Can't say I've heard Stained, or have I? Does ring a bell. Perhaps it's something I should look up. If it's similar to Disturbed, I'm more than happy to have a look at them. It's way too much. I think we could limit this quite a bit more. This is what now? That's 490. Plus, I'm gonna have the other side. That's what's 1,000 triangles. That's way too much. I should be able to get that a lot lower. There you go. Is that the entire 40? Is that all of them? I think so. Let's just, yeah. Let's try that. I'm not super worried about the poly count. If it's too heavy, I'm sure it's this particular model is not going to be the biggest fender in the game. Probably going to look more at lighting, volumetric fog. That's probably going to be a bigger performance hit than this model. And I can always go in Nana. And Nana solves everything, right? So apply. Let's actually remove you. It's probably good enough. Need to figure out how to do these. What happens? Should select one. Loops ring. Okay, so that, all right. So what if I do this? Oh, that's good. However, can I get the check deselect to work? I can't. All right. Kind of hoping to select every other ring. Yeah. Or I can stay at, how many are there? I think it's 32 rings. Right, so edge loop 32. I could probably delete all of these. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's try and combine. Oh, that could be a problem. Getting how to create to reset my scaling could be an issue. Absolutely. It's going to affect the highpoly, so I need to fix that again. Your name. Capo 1, all right. Let's see. There we go. So is anyone working on? I think I saw someone mentioning working on games. Who was it now again? Sorry. Let's see. Where you're gonna find you. Was it? Who was it? How far up do I need to go? There we go. Zombie. All right. There you go. Yeah, I was thinking it was one of three. You were one of them. So it was a PlayStation 1 inspired game, was it? Right? Cool. All right. I did see the someone made a what you call it, not a remake, but a version of Bloodborne, but in PlayStation 1 graphics. That was a really fun project to follow. Let's see. Let's go with this. Are you working on something similar, or what's the if you can talk about it and want to talk about it, of course. Curious. Good. Let's try. Things easy to see. Gonna add new material. Let's see. Let's go all red. Copy it all over the place. For how far I should go. Might not even be needed. Let's see. Oh, did I go the other way around? I did. Oh, no worries. I was just curious because I saw someone mentioning making a game, and that was you, Zombie. I was kind of curious what's all about, other than the PlayStation 1. I got that part. I'm not sure if you can't remember if you mentioned anything else about it. I have to go back and double check. Oh yeah. You mentioned fixed style horror game. We actually did go into Resident Evil silent style. Oh yeah, we did. There you go. What's this? I mean, how does that work for movement wise? Because wouldn't that be a challenge if, I guess maybe not. My head is going places right now, so keep up with me. Like, what's the challenge when it comes to that type of game where or that approach with the camera? I mentioned it because it's not what you usually would do nowadays, I'd say. Kind of curious. You have both tank and camera facing. It says con rolls, but I assume that's controls. Because con roll sounds some kind of corn tool. Yeah, okay. So I wasn't going blind or insane. Camera facing control. Okay. That's cool. Awesome. And I need to stop adjusting my highpoly all the time because it's meant to be a low poly stream. All right. All right, now we're into one of the territories that might not please everyone when it comes to music. Oh, come on. Just fit. There you go. No longer low poly. I'm not sure what to do. We do this. Apply. Let's remove these. So I'm waiting, zombie. I saw your message a few minutes ago, but I was expecting there to be more to it. Because now you're like just putting me on a cliffhanger. Lady Baby? Are you referring to the song, the band? The music, all right. So they are called Baby Metal, Japanese hard metal band. Their songs are in my mind, I like them. They're hitting the spot for me. Though the lyrics, my question whether or not they are of a grown-up version. I know they have like a song about Valentine chocolate, and karate and things like that. But the man singing with them, that's Joachim from Sabaton, which is one of my favorite bands. So I just had to listen to it. But I do listen to Baby Metal. They do have songs I do like, so that's a confession, I guess. Let's remove you. You were already moved. All right. Let's see. Can I? Is it worth combining? Because I can remove the inside. I should. Operate. I love that setting. So it's always been one of my favorite types, the abandoned asylum type of things. Gets me thinking of what's the name of that game? They made two of them, where a reporter goes to, well, I think it's a report in both games, but in the first one, the reporter goes to an asylum, and he's surrounded by these absolute lunatics. What's the name of it? I have it on my tongue. It's just on the tip of my tongue. It's Outlast, yes. Is that an inspiration? because that would be insane. Like, that's a cool game. Awesome. Yeah, cool. Nice save polygons if I combine these. I should, right? Let's see. Oh, don't want line rotation. Let's see if that worked. Yes, seems like it did. But you were talking about a fixed camera angle, right? So that would be more Resident Evil then? So you would combine an inspiration of Outlast and Resident Evil? All right. Awesome. That's a really cool idea. And with graphics, low fidelity graphics also comes with the benefit that you can kind of work with the uncanny valley type of things, which could be really cool. Okay. Yeah. Anything you can share these Steam link? I'd love to have a look. Let's see. Need to scroll out. No, please do. All right, let's see. This looks great. Awesome stuff. Really nice, nostalgic feel to it. All right, yeah. Passion projects are always fun to work on. But also a bit scary when you're feeling like, okay, now it's time to share this with people. And it's like, oh shit, yeah, it's time to share this with people. But I love how you have really added a lot of stuff to your Steam list or Steam page. It really gives me a good feeling. I think that's all we want, right? Just one person, please give me one. Yeah, we'll see what. I mean, I mentioned that I've been working on games, so hopefully, if I can get one or two, even just playing my game, they don't have to buy it. Even I also feel like hell yeah. Thanks, Mom. You're doing so great, son. Yes, happy for you, getting friends and everything. All right, Art Sharp. How many triangles? 1,000. That might be overkill. Let's see if we can get away with a few cuts every now and then. Oh, we don't need. There we go. The add-on is on again. Sharp. assume there's a... Yeah, there we go. I think that could work. We're down to 652. Might still be a bit much. But we'll see. We can always remove more at some point. I might actually remove the inside. The only reason I'm kind of keeping it is the baking part. I might need that extra geometry for the baking. I'm worried that the ambient occlusion might not work as well, unless I have some geometry to bounce off. Let's go with the notion that it's fine. You can probably just add more in it at some point. So with these done, let's, for the sake of keeping track, just gonna add another material to them. Let's go. Next would be this thing. It's a similar process. And even lower this more. Probably could. Let's see. You're gone. Supply. You solidify, and final bevel needs to be removed. Or let's try this. Let's lower this one to 1. No, don't want that. It's 1,000. That's quite a lot. But any back faces can I remove? Not all of them, apparently. You and continue going on. You're progressing quite well, quite fast. Just remove that. Probably. should work. I need to check on my AC soon. It's been pulling out a lot of water through moisture through my apartment, and it's filling up buckets every day. We're experiencing high heat here in Sweden, and it's terrible. I'm not used to it. See, should probably leave you as is. Still looking at this part. Did I actually not add modifier to you? I should have done that. Yeah. Fine. We're already done. About this part though. First of all, I don't need my modifier. I need my solidify though. Yeah, let's say I do. Let's keep you. So we're going to apply. It's just 130. We can leave with that. These next. We're digging into that part. What are the chances that's going to be an artifact in my baking? I would say quite high. But I can live with that. Let's just move on. Or I'm just going to regret the decision later on. We'll see. What else? One more. All right. I need to remove subdiv. The bevel, we could probably try and lower that. I'll try. Let's try and load it just ever so slightly. And live with that, I think. I'm not sure. No, I'm going to remove it. I have another plant. Instead, I'm going to add a manual bevel. To add to the corners, that's the question. Might have to. I'm going to take a gander. That should be fine. It's a replica of Clark Kent's changing room. So I needed to make it. I need to make it nice for him. Because apparently he uses those a lot. Not sure why. I'm going to leave it at that. We can fix the actual... No, we're going to do this. We're going to apply the mirror one and remove these. Save a few polygons. With that, we're down to 544. Should be good enough. Tackle these. Keep most of the geometry on these since they are so prominent. Or maybe not. I'm already going quite high on the poly count right now. Let's go with that. So we can get straight. Don't need this. It's a good attempt, Bounce. Good attempt. You're a bit off. I appreciate the effort, though. Each one of these are like 400. That's insane. But yeah, you always do want to kind of count along with the song when it gets to that point. I'm glad you like it because it's, like I mentioned, it's my favorite song, so it's just a ton of my stuff. Alright, let's see. It's taste I've cultivated through the years. Through many years. Alright. Slightly worried that I went too far on these. Yes, perhaps I did, but I can solve that at some other point. We can just move on. That's the fun part about modeling. You can always just change your mind later on. We'll see. So I do hope that I'm able to do at least most of the UV mapping today. I usually stream until around like 11:30 or up till midnight my time, so in 1.5 2 hours. But I would love to finish off the UV mapping. Yeah, it would be nice. Get all the way to UV maps, because now I can get to I thought we were continuing the emoji stuff, because is it a hamster that holds the glass, or a mouse? I'm not sure. But yeah, so UV map would be nice to be able to finish, or at least start today. We'll see. Things usually take longer than I expect, so. Did I apply the modifiers in this one? I did not meant to do that. Right, so to fix that, we should probably reuse the same modifiers from another one. So let's grab this one, delete the others, and modify it. Wait, it's not even. It's 48, so it should be even. Why isn't it even? Misclick. Likely. Yeah, I know there should be a way to do it in Blender. I'm quite positive, but the only one I can think of is the select checker one. All right, Mel is that's I remember. It's been like 10 years since I touched Mel or even thought of it. Is that Python adjacent stuff, or is it Maya? Like unique? Can't remember. Oh, there we go. Perhaps I'm doing this quite often, so I probably should look. All right, yeah. The good thing about Blender is they can use Python to do these things, but I'm not the best coder, so it would take me probably a few days to finish a script. They're switching to Python 4 for the sake of you working in Maya and Max, or just in general. Oh, could it be? Might be easier than okay, in general. I mean, Python has a lot of upsides when it comes to what's going wrong, right? AI stuff, right? And it seems to be one of those platform or scripts that most people tend to get into quite easily. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's the wrong one. All right, that's a start. Apparently, I should be able to do a check a deselect and use one of these. No, that's not even close. In the end, it's better to choose something that you like working with. And I never got really into Python. I'm more of a, when I do program, which is not often, but when I do, I prefer to work with C++. Mostly because it's Unreal stuff and part of work and game development, of course. So it's just a good fit. I hope to get back to that because one of my first streams, first 4 or 5, was coding and blueprinting. So I want to go back to that at some point. Right now, it's modeling. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it has only been like, what, 5, probably maybe 7 years since Blender did their big update. Oh, you're more into the art side? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of soothing, and I do love seeing things happening in front of me rather than text and then stuff. Oh, you mean you like that I'm working with modeling rather than coding stuff? Fair enough. I do want to switch it up every now and then, of course. It's not going to be a coding focused stream. It's going to be game development, right? So if I need to do some coding and blueprints, that's what's going to happen. But this is my bread and butter. This is what I did when I got into it, and I've done for, is it close to 15 years now, I think? Oh, really? I'm sorry to hear that. Tons. Hey, sir, may I know the difference between technical environment artist and normal environment artist? All right. Yeah, that's a good question. To be honest with you, I'm still struggling a bit myself with defining. I mean, if you go traditional, it's simpler to describe. You work on the environment. You create the models, you place the models. You often kind of delve sometimes into lighting and stuff. So yeah, hands-on on that part. But a technical environment artist, they have experience on both sides often, or lean heavily into creating tools for artists or something like that. So it's a mix between a tech artist and an environment artist. So I'm leaning more into the modeling, shading, material stuff than perhaps a technical artist would. Like I said, it's still a bit up in the air what's the difference is. I'm not sure if the industry has even decided on a proper response to that question. Twitch dog. Let's see. Our tools adapt Python for the API. Just spread. Autodesk was big enough to shrug it off for a long time, it seems. Yeah. Autodesk was the big hitter for a long time. I mean, Maya. You had, what's the name of their animation software. Oh, right now it's can't remember. 3D Studio, Microsoft Force, and Maya. They were big stuff, big industry standards. So, but Blender has really taken a big chunk out of what Autodesk has. So yeah. Yeah, pounds. I would say that's pretty much spot on. Are you welcome, tons? Yeah, every time, anytime. You just ask anyway. If I can answer, I can answer. So, or I will pass it on. No, I will do my best to answer questions. Just that one is kind of I'm still working on it myself. But if you're going to look at what I'm doing, I went from a traditional environment artist working on more or less on models. I did a lot of rocks at my previous place. Then I decided I want to do coding. I want to work more with variables, blueprints, and things like that. So I leaned into that part, and that's when they decided at my previous place to just say, you're now a technical environment artist. It sounded great it sounds good on my resume and things like that. So I assume it works. We'll see what happens. It's needed though, that bridge. So if you have both art stuff and some coding backgrounds, I highly suggest looking into that if you're interested in the game industry or similar areas. Are you even an environment artist if you haven't done a rock? Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you. That's you probably have to do at least one rock and probably a tree or a flower. If you haven't done that, I wouldn't consider you an environment artist. No, I'm joking. But it's very much a part of the business as an environment artist to make rocks and trees. And you went from environment art to design. Okay. And design, you mean like level design then? Or similar area? Because I'm guessing graphical design is the only one I can think of. Or sound, of course. Sound. But I'm assuming you're referring to level design. Let's see. I think we should probably do a similar approach to I'm looking at. That is not the same. That's not what I did to fix the shading issue. What is this? What has happened? That's what I did. Why is the other one not the same? All right, yeah. All right. First of all, remove. I'm gonna make a copy of this one, and then move that to the low poly. I'm gonna need this one, I think. All right. Just gonna eyeball this. It's good enough. I have to add more geometry in this corner when it comes to the low poly. Right now it's just a 90-degree angle. That's not going to work. Outside. Oh, it goes all the way around. All right. Few edges in the back. So what to do with this part? Assume I don't need that bevel, so could just move this in a bit, I guess. Go the opposite direction with this one. Pretty sure I'm not going to need this entire section on top. Assume I'm not going to need the inside either, or that edge right there, so we could probably hide that completely. It's good enough. It's on the inside, it doesn't have to be perfect. I zoom at least. So you're gone. And all right. There you go. Right, so those corners then. What to do with those corners? Sure, just beveling them won't work. We'll try. That might work. All right, what's the values? We're looking at a shift of, supposed to be down here somewhere. There we go. 001. Well, nice seeing you, zombie, and have a good day, or evening, or morning, whatever else. And absolutely, I'd love to see you again and hear more about your progress on that game. I look forward to it. You have a good day. All right. And we're back to shading. Awesome. I think we can fix this using the what's this called? With normals. Could that help us potentially? Completely, it seems. We'll try the transfer data approach. I'm not sure if it's worth time. I have the should have the option of merging while move. I don't. All right. Let's activate that then. Let's go with merge. Let's see. If I wanted to fix those, what do I need to do? I believe I need to select these. Let's duplicate them and select this. And move this part. Can remove that part. Then comes the boring part. Outside, which one it is. Let's do that. From you can add data transfer node. We're going to turn this off temporarily. Source. Oh, it's been a while since I've done this. I'm not sure how it works. I need to select groups. Perhaps. Let's try it out. All right. That's something. I can't do it on everything, so I need to find a way to limit that. Assume using vertex group is the correct approach. It's close. Still see some issues over here, so we're going to extend group selection to these parts. It looks like the shading is gone. Awesome. Let's see. I have an extra. I do have my highpoly showing. That's why. Is that all of them? I think so. Awesome. So that might be the end for the low poly comes to retopology at least. Well, perhaps we could do another thing. Look at it. This part we merged down. Did that mess up my shading? Not that I can tell now. Do I have the cavities on? I don't. All right, I didn't actually add right modifiers to this part. So let's fix that. Should be able to just copy this one. There you go, perfect. So just below 10,000 triangles. I might be pushing it. Sure. Sure, there are parts I can adjust a bit more. Nothing's obviously like popping up right now. Perhaps I can just live with that. Which leads me to thinking that we're ready for the UV mapping. Oh, yeah, it might be. All right, yeah, let's go with that. It's going to be an easy one. Do I, by the way, have all my add-ons installed? Yes, looks like I do. Oh yeah, UVs is absolutely the best part of this. Look forward to that. I mean, it's part of the discipline, right? Can't just go through life and not UV map single thing in the world. And of course, there's the other thing. You're probably going to have, like when you walk around in real world IRL, you're probably going to see things like, oh, how do I UV map that? Wait, how do I polygon, like model that part? Or how many triangles? So it's, I used to go around looking at things. I still do every now and then, but used to be a lot more a few years ago when I was looked at things. It's like, how do I model this part? Oh, that's this many triangles, and it's horrendous. It's a work hazard. You think that's nice? I'm gonna be. I'm gonna disagree a bit. I don't like the idea of seeing polygons in front of me all the time. It's kind of annoying, actually. All right. I mean, I could, that's a more healthy thing to do. I absolutely have to have someone in your lives that looks like you, like at you, if as if they have to bring in the people with the white straight jackets, right? That's part of it. And it's not fun if you can't get someone to look at you like that. You need one at least out of your friends, but he tends to be as crazy as me, so he doesn't look at me the same way anymore. He's more like, yeah, you know what? I can be crazy too. Actually, he's probably more crazy than me, so I guess I can take that back. All right, UV mapping. My head. What am I cut? That's probably a dumb place to make a cut. We try it out. I want one there and there. Same. Do I have you live UV unwrap on? Don't. Something connecting? Could that be? Spot? Why would you still feel connected? Because I have this big face underneath. Yeah. Makes sense. Likely same story on the other side. Oh, right. Let's go the other way. There we go. That's a start. Should get a larger water ball. This one empties too fast. Circle. All that. All right. That will be visible to the play, though. Perhaps I should add it to the front. First one on inside. Yep. Right. Easy peasy when there are just rings. We'll see what happens once I get to the more complicated ones. We'll have cap 2, right? Yeah, there we go. I would like it to be a bit more straight. It's not the end of the world, and I do have an add-on that helps me with that. Though it's not the most reliable one. It will do the job, I think. Hmm. I could either go a full loop on the bottom, or I can go with something like this. That would probably, I think that could work better, since it would allow me to have what would be more exposed to the player, which is this side. I think I could leave keep the UVs more straight, less deformed if I do it this way. Let's see. Let's do a cut on the bottom. Fine. Not sure how to make this process entertaining. Just adding cuts, adjusting seams, adding cuts, adjusting seams. But it is what it is. It's the process of UV mapping. Perhaps I could have this part just keep on going. Let's try. What happens. That's not the best. Not the worst either. The adjustment should look fine. Yep. See. Side panels. Oh, fun. It's a more difficult one. Let's add first in the really sharp corners. That's the easy part. And should probably add like so. Oh, now that I think of it, my plan was to have the glass be opaque, which means everything on the inside is not needed. And therefore, I can actually remove quite a bit from these side panels. My reasoning for going with opaque glass was kind of to limit the amount of stuff I had to model. And I think that could have a nice look to it when it comes to the emissive map. And I can add some dirt, some cool stuff, and I think I can have more control over a emissive map than a VFX particle stuff, especially since I'm more experienced with materials, blueprint rather than VFX stuff. So I think that could be a better approach for me. Stop that. Move those, and I can use, since these faces are now separate from the other faces, I can use L to highlight all of them, and then delete, which leaves me with just the front. Great. All right. That saves me both some polygons and some UV, and adds more area for me in the UV mapping to place proper stuff. Some wrap again. Let's try conform. That's perfect. Question is, I should probably split at that section. I'm not super happy with all of these frames being just a bit taking up a lot of the spot. I could always add UVs in the center of these, but it's always a bit of a pain to work with them. So for this section, I'm gonna add a seam. Now a straight UV island. I could probably do the same for this part. Likely even this part. These two islands are forward facing, so I'm not going to touch those. Next, with the panels, I can have all of these overlap if I wanted to. And I might be able to get away with that. The one thing I'm worried about is that if each detail becomes too obvious to the player, I might not have, may not be something I need to worry about. Because this part of the panel will be on that side, away from the player. And then you're going to have lights, things happening around the player. So I'm pretty sure no one's actually going to look at that part and say, hey, that looks weird. If they are, they're going to have to blame themselves for that. Just blame the player. Good approach. You should know that's sarcasm. Don't do that. Let's see. I can hide it behind the panel, of course. Metal band. This part. Mark seam. I don't know, perfect. This one should be easy. I just don't like the way it takes up such much, all that space, though. Can I fib that a bit and do something else about it? Like, there's an option. I could cut up this saucer piece so only that center part will be round, and that's straighten this entire piece. It's a pain though, and it opens the opportunity for stretching. I should try it and see what happens, and if it doesn't work, I can always go back and fix it at a later stage. I'm noticing that, again, I can hide it behind one of those metal bands, or strips, whatever you want to call them. Of course, you have the bottom. Do I need the bottom? I do. That's no fun. To try this real quick with the text tools has a good tool for this. So if you don't have sync on, you go to Rectify, and that should give me a perfectly straight UV. I'm going to accept that. All right. Oh, I'm not going to accept that. Of course, because I have the live unwrap UVs on my perfectly nice band of UVs is going to be messed up. Awesome. I fix you. I did. One, two. Mark scene. It's already done. And you. I assume the easiest way will be to just add 1, 2. Seems like that. We're meant to continue. Why aren't you continuing? Why aren't you moving to that edge loop? Because there's still one of these not wanting to merge. Okay, perfect. Still. All right. That fixed it. Oh. Okay, I see it. Well, you can, Nathan, but I might not understand what you're talking about. I'm glad you're here, though. So if you want to try it out, please do. But yeah, I might not understand it, though, since I do not play Roblox. But how are you doing? Okay, all right. I'll take you by your words. Awesome. It's always nice to see you in chat, so it's nice to hear. Ooh, actually, that section could be combined. That looks like crap. What is that about? Has non-uniform scale. Why can't I ever remember to fix that before unwrapping? Still, though, you don't want to cooperate. All right. How about that? That's better. Now that I think I'm closer to that, I could try and do this instead. Well, then I need to cut. Yep, that's a lot better. For you, the fun one. I don't want the seam to be on the outside. That's a tough one because it's doing that loop, which means if I add the edge going on the inside of the loop, then all of a sudden it's on the front of this thing. If I do the other way around, I'm going to have it on the outside of the loop instead. So I should do is add it on the side. That's what I should do. Oh. Right. Well, now it's probably very visible on that part. Can't get away, can I? I mean, I could divide it into multiple UVs. And hopefully that could save. Could divide it just below this part. So this section down below the loop will be one part. And then you would have a loop on the other one. But I'm gonna wing it and say that I'm better off doing it this way. Check map. Here we go. Now let's confirm that everything looks as it should. And we need to fix the texel density and stack everything. Select all, pass the material onto everything. It's going to look like crap. But we can fix. I believe it's Bob the Builder that told us that we can fix it. So I believe in it. Let's go. So one thing I wanted to accomplish, if possible, was a texel density of 512. I think that is me being way too optimistic. That means every centimeter has 5 pixels. That's quite a lot. But I won't know if I don't try. So, no, not really. Well, I've been planning, Nathan, to add either a Twitter or an Instagram. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I wanted to focus on Twitch and YouTube. But I do plan of adding that to my platform at some point. Just need to find the time to do it. And between my regular work schedule and my streaming with editing, everything, I find it hard to locate available time in my schedule. But yeah, but I do see that a few people have asked and pointed out that I probably should fix that. So at some point, and I'll post it somewhere on my channel and let you know once I see you next time and I've done it. If you tell me a good horror game idea, I will make it. All right. Oh, wow. What would that be? Yesterday, I did have one of those, like, daydreams where I walked around and thought of a cool concept, but now it's gone. I don't like that. But have you ever played the... that could be something. Otherwise, I would love to play on the idea of using fog. Have you played the game Get the F Out? They have this fog machine that repels fog. So you have like Lovecraftian stuff going on inside the fog, just confusing the player. Rather than hunting, you can confuse them. Yeah, GTFO. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense in this case. I mean, it is actually what you would call inappropriate language, I guess. But yeah, I saw it and I mean, it stands actually for a curse word, so yeah. But you're fine. I fixed it. But yeah, GTFO. I think it's actually a Swedish studio called... Wow. I should know their name because I wanted once to work for them because of Get the FO. Get the fuck out. Now I lost it though. But yeah, it's a really cool game. If you haven't played it, it's a nice game to play with your friends. You're delving into a... let's call it a dungeon. I'm going to call it a dungeon. It's not really a dungeon, but it's a lab underneath the ground. And you're surrounded by these monsters that react to sound. And you're meant to kind of take, like, what's it called? You have an objective as a team, and it's a really hard game. It's a really tough game. And these monsters are wild, so if you make a sound, they will attack you. It's a difficult game. And that's my experience at least. But I haven't played it in years. I think it's probably 1 or 2 years now, or maybe even more. All right. Apply. Does that make sense? I feel like that doesn't make sense. I feel that it should be occupying a lot more space than it does. Perhaps not. Let's try 512 then. Now, I'm going to use this one. I really like this tool. It really packs all my textures really like properly, and I can tell it to be mindful of overlapping stuff. So either don't overlap, or if it's overlapping, keep it overlapped. And it's using these heuristics. I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation, but it just keeps on calculating until I'm telling it to stop. But it feels like it's kind of did stop quite early. And as an initial UV layout, this isn't the worst I've made. There's a few options when you can fix. We can straighten this one. This one probably need to be straightened. It doesn't occupy too much space, so we might live with it being a bit deformed. I do like it straight, so we're going to try and straighten it out. I'm worried that this part is not going to work well with the tools because it has triangles, and it doesn't like triangles for some reason. We're going to try it out. Rectify. Yep, exactly like expected. That did not work out. All right. That means it's going to be a manual approach. That's going to be a pain. All right, so all right, let's try that. All right, to uncheck the automatic UV mapping. Otherwise, this is going to be a pain because it's just going to remove all my work. There we go. All right. Vertex closest. There we go. Let's do compromise. Let's meet middle. Okay. Need to manually move this part. It's gonna be perfect, but it's kind of to be expected at this stage. Need to listen to Crazy Train one more time. So it's proper. Looks straight. What does the actual texture say? I'm gonna call it and say it's straight enough. Awesome. Right. Oh. Right. Right. That's good to remember. Move this part. I don't need that anymore. That's why you need to go. Could say more space. This is going to be the inside, right? Barely going to be visible. So, and by saving space, what I could do is grab this part and just do it 180 and attach it on top of this. Almost. Why is it so different? Let's move you up. All right. Fiddling, fiddling, fiddling. That. Foreign part of this is the repetitiveness. It's done though. Right. Next, we need to line these with the opposite side. For you. Awesome. And the last one. There you go. So if I've done this correct, then if I select these two, I should have them facing the opposite of each other. Perfect. Almost. Select those two. All right, so it's not perfect. Dang it. Did I mess up? Did I flip it the wrong way? I think I did. So what if we do your Y? Check this before I tried. Now they're opposite. All right, so I messed up. All right. It happens. We just go again. Oh, I'm sure there's a better way to do this. But should double check that I'm actually not making the same mistake. So vertex, we're gonna add U and U. That looks correct. Yep, or I think we're fine. There we go. Final stretch. Just to move all of you over to that side. You and the last one. Awesome. Now they are perfectly overlapping. Issue with those. Same with these. Right. Save. I realized I haven't saved in a while. So let's go back to UV Master, and I need you to keep in mind that I want nothing. I want the overlaps to be overlap. Where were you? There's a setting somewhere. Advanced. Back together. Lock overlapping. Yes, I want them to be exact, I believe. Map. Stop. Where did it go? I'm blind. No, it's right here. But it didn't respect the overlap. All right. Let's try again. There we go. Yeah, that's perfect. Then I'll probably be able to do a overlap check. Yeah, so that is perfectly overlapping. So it means that I have to be careful once it comes down to the baking, because you can't have overlapping UVs while baking. So you have to move at least one of the UV islands to the side. And you would do that by either selecting, well, you would select one of them or multiple, all but one. Then use your move button, but you would have to press a 1 or in either X, Y, or, well, X and Y direction. Otherwise, it's not going to be perfectly overlapping later on. It makes more sense once we get to that point. It's either way, it's important to remove the overlapping. And the last part was just to make sure once you're done with the baking and move the UVs back to its original place, it's not going to show the wrong stuff. It's just going to show the right details. Can I just rectify you? I seem to be able to. Some easy wins. So I'm just going to fix that. I don't think I have to, but I'm going to either way on you. You seemed straight enough. So that one. Like to move to the side. And we're going to activate stretching so I can see what I'm doing. Let's leave those. What about this one? Which one are you? You are that section. Okay. Yeah, should be able to rectify that without any issues. Hopefully. There's some stretching. Why are you stretching? You can't deal with the bevel? Is that what you're complaining about? I assume I could just move this section closer. Oh, alright. Let's do it manually then. Let's go all the way up. Yeah, and the last part. It's decently straight. It's not even close. I regret making it this way. We'll see. I feel like I've said that many times today. When I add another problem to solve on top of all other ones I've had, it's gonna be fine. Could just this while it feels like it would be unnecessary. Tools, rectify, master, and adjust it to scale so it fits within the texel density. How about these two? Can I do both at the same time? Will that be an issue? Nope, it's fine. So, anything else? I should probably have fixed these. Let's see. I can move you to the side. Rectify these. Looks great. Just scale. And the question is then, how far do I want to go with this one? Do I want to eyeball it roughly in place? That is an option. Yeah, we're not going to do much more than that. You, however, needs to be I think that should be all of them. And should just be able to pack. I'm not liking right now is that it's not really using entire space. And there could be a few reasons why. So we can look at this entire island right here. That's a lot longer than the other ones, at least proportion wise. So it needs that entire length, and everything needs to adjust in size to that, so they can't stretch and fill the entire space. I could try and reduce the margins, but it's quite close as is, so I don't want to do that. Which one are you? What do you belong to? You belong to, I'm guessing, the front frame. Does. The outside, okay. And we have one top. We're going to add another one at the bottom. like so. With that, we should be able to increase the packing a bit more. It's not a lot more though. I'm seeing the same issue with this one. Where are you? Which one are you? You're also part of the frame, which makes sense. Pounds, it depends. That's my answer to that. In this case, I'm probably will, unless it's gonna mess up my AO, my ambient occlusion. I want the ambient occlusion to kind of interact with everything rather than a few parts. But if I can't get the normal map to look decent, I'm not gonna. It's more important for me that the normal map looks great than the ambient occlusion. I mean, that's probably the best approach in most cases. There are a few. I mean, if you explode this part, you're likely not going to get the ambient occlusion interaction between the panels and the side cylinder, the bottom one. You can probably get it between the panels, and if you want, just between what's connected to panels, what's connected to the bottom cylinder. But if you want the both to kind of interact when it comes to the ambient, you can't really explode them. Or you do it in two batches. You do first everything else with an exploded version, and then you combine another mesh, and you use that to bake the ambient occlusion. It's not fun. It takes time, but if you want the perfect ambient occlusion, you might have to do that approach in most cases. Yeah. I mean, it's taken me, I don't know how many years to learn and how many people I've talked to actually eventually get that process into my head. But I might do a pure explode on this mesh. It's not a portfolio piece. It's something I want to do within a recent time frame. And going with the exploding part would be faster than the other one I explained. Because I need to do probably 2 versions of low poly, 2 versions of the high poly, non-exploded and exploded. And then I need to go down the baking process again, tweak. Yeah, it's a big mess. But if you want something that looks great, you need to go through those parts, those steps. All right. Hopefully that answered your question. All right. All right, this is a lot better. I'm not sure how well it comes through the stream, but at my bottom of my display, I can see the area we're currently using. And previously we were at just below like 59% or 0.59. Now we're almost close to 0.73, which means we've increased the area usage of about 20%, at least according to the add-on. So that's a big improvement. We can't really do much about these cylinders. Well, actually, we could do something. What we could do the same approach with the handle as we did with the bottom cylinder. Because the player is never going to look at more than one side at a time, right? What I'm going to be careful with, though, is this seam on this side might be perfect, but on this side we might see some slight edge seams, like in the texture. Really harsh cutoff. Again, though, the player is not going to look at that side, and their hand is likely going to be on that part, or it is going to be looking at from the back side. So if I have this part on the other side to be the secondary UV and this part to be the first primary UV, then holding up a hand, this is going to be the part the player sees, not this side. It's flipped for you in the camera, but for me that makes sense towards me. So I could save another probably a few percentage And there are probably a few other places I can do. If you want to be really like save space, this section, you could probably downsize this UV about 20%, maybe even more. Again, depends on, do you expect the player to see the bottom of your mesh? I mean, probably not going to happen. So I'm going to save some UV space by, I think I'm going to add these two on top of each other. Or perhaps I'm going to do it on top of this one. These two might be better candidate. Or not, because then I'm going to have ambient occlusion on the bottom. So that's not the best option. I could still lower this one and this one with about 20%. So let's try that. Which means I'm going to scale it by 0.08. So we were at, what was it? Just below 73%. So with this change, let's see what it tells me. Let's stop. It made it worse. So that was not the option. Really? That made it worse? Oh, because these probably didn't take up as much space anymore. Oh, that was wrong. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. It actually does make sense. What else could we do, though? Glass panels. They might actually need more space. Probably not. What is the size of the texture I'm currently looking at? I'm using am I really using a 512 texture as a reference? I don't think I am. I might be, actually. When I think about it. This is not a big lantern. Everything combined is probably 25 centimeters tall. So it could make sense that it could fit, everything could fit on a 5 or 12 texture. And if I do then a 1024 texture, I would have a lot higher texture density. And I can be even more nuts. I can go to 2K. Then I would have a hero piece. That would be insane. Oh, are you overlapping? No, you're not. I'm going to sleep on it because time flies. And we achieved what I was trying to, my goal for this evening, which was to get to the UV mapping. And I actually believe we finished UV mapping. I'm going to think about it a bit more until next time. But hopefully we could finalize all the small details and move on to baking and perhaps even texturing, which I really look forward to because I haven't had the time and opportunity to get into get back into Substance Painter. I did one for the last asset, which was a rock, but that wasn't really that fine detail stuff, and I didn't get to paint a lot, which I look forward to. All right, let's do what we always do, or I always try to do at least. And that is update my notepad. I'll remove this to the side. Let's see. Do out. It's not a fancy document, but it does the job. What else? Export to ZBrush. I decided not to do that, so we can remove that part. Let's do high poly to low poly. which I did. Do a done. Then UV mapping. I'm going to call that a work in progress. Although I would also say that it's probably 90% done. And after that, we're looking at baking textures. Let's call them baking base textures in Painter. Finally, texturing. There you go. So that is mostly the pipeline in the very rough outlined. Save. Right. I think there's nothing else to it. Yeah, I agree. I tend to be a bit slower usually, but I feel I feel I have eyes on me this time. So when I'm streaming, I feel like I have people always looking at me. It's like, need to move on. Otherwise, I would be nitpicky, go into the details, and almost be crazy at the end. I think that might be the absolutely hardest part of being a 3D modeler in general. I mean, there are hard parts, of course, but the idea of just realizing now it's done. Like, you need to move on. You can't move it that millimeter or those extra 5%. You need to move on. You're 90% slower on stream. Or perhaps you should rephrase it and say you're 90% more thorough on stream. Thorough inside, you move on, you keep the process going instead of just going all over the place and do stuff you don't need to do. I'm a part of that. Please do. I'm gonna pass that on. It might be a t-shirt in the future. I'm 90% more thorough while I'm streaming. I'm already thinking about t-shirt. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. But that said, let's just slow down the music a bit. So it's just slightly. Because apparently this is what you're supposed to do as a content creator and streamer. You're supposed to tell people to go and follow you, either here on Twitch or on YouTube. Oh, you £2, and I'll see you around. And I hope to see everyone else. And thank you, Pounds, again, for introducing me to this wonderful raid community. That was a shock, and I still haven't really recovered, although my heartbeat is a lot slower right now. But anyone who joined from the raid, thank you for joining me, and thank you for staying until this part, because you joined me early on in the stream. So I absolutely am very grateful for you staying all the way, and I hope to see more of you around, because this is a lot of fun. I really look forward to seeing more of you. Absolutely, and I can't express how grateful I am. So that was a lot fun experience. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. Everyone, have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon. And I hope to see you on the next stream, which is not going to be on Saturday. That's my usual streaming night. It's probably going to be on Sunday if I'm not too hungover. We'll see. All right. Thank you all. See you around. Bye.